If you've ever walked away from a toxic relationship and thought, why can't I just move on? Why do I still think about them constantly? Why do I feel like I've lost my mind? I want you to know that what you're experiencing is not weakness. It is not you being dramatic. It is not you being too sensitive. It is your brain. Literally. Physiologically. Changed by what you went through. Narcissistic abuse doesn't just hurt your feelings. It doesn't just damage your confidence. It rewires the way your brain functions. And understanding exactly what happened inside your mind is one of the most powerful steps toward actually healing from it. So today we're going deep. We're talking about what narcissistic abuse actually does to your brain, and why recovery feels so much harder than getting over a normal breakup. The first thing that happens, your cortisol levels stay permanently elevated. Cortisol is your stress hormone. In healthy amounts it keeps you alert and functioning. But when you live in a constant state of tension, never knowing which version of this person you're going to get today, always waiting for the next argument, always walking on eggshells, your body stays in a state of chronic stress. Your cortisol never comes down. And here's what chronic high cortisol does to you. It disrupts your sleep. It affects your immune system. It makes you anxious even when there's nothing to be anxious about. It keeps your nervous system in a constant low-level state of fight or flight, even after you've left the relationship. For example, you're out with friends months after the relationship ended. You're laughing, you're having a good time. And then someone's phone buzzes loudly and your whole body tenses up. Your heart races. You feel a wave of anxiety you can't explain. That's not you being crazy. That's a nervous system that spent so long on high alert that it forgot how to come down. Your body learned that peace was temporary, so it stopped fully believing in it. The second thing that happens, your dopamine system gets hijacked. Dopamine is the chemical in your brain associated with reward, pleasure, and motivation. In a healthy relationship, dopamine flows in a relatively stable way. You feel good around this person, things feel safe and consistent. But with a narcissist, the hot and cold cycle, the constant push and pull of affection and withdrawal, creates something very different. Your brain starts associating this person with unpredictable reward. And unpredictable rewards are the most addictive kind. This is the same mechanism behind slot machines. You don't keep pulling the lever because you always win. You keep pulling it because sometimes you win. And that uncertainty is what makes it impossible to stop. For example, he goes cold for days. Barely responds to your messages. You feel desperate, anxious, like something is wrong. Then suddenly he's warm again, calls you, says the right things, makes you feel chosen. And your brain floods with dopamine. That relief, that rush, it feels like love. But what it actually is your brain rewarding you for surviving the withdrawal. And now your brain craves that cycle. Even after you leave. Which is why you miss them even when you know they were bad for you. You're not missing the person. You're missing the hit. The third thing that happens, your hippocampus shrinks. The hippocampus is the part of your brain responsible for memory and learning. Studies have shown that prolonged exposure to stress and emotional trauma can actually cause the hippocampus to shrink, reducing its ability to function properly. What does this mean practically? It means your memory becomes unreliable. You struggle to retain new information. You have difficulty making decisions that used to feel simple. You find yourself forgetting things constantly, feeling foggy, unable to think clearly. For example, you used to be sharp, organized, on top of everything. Now you walk into a room and forget why you're there. You read the same paragraph 3 times and nothing goes in. You make simple decisions, what to eat, what to wear, and feel genuinely overwhelmed by them. People around you might have even commented that you seem different. Slower. Less like yourself. And you couldn't explain why. Now you know why. Your brain was under prolonged attack and it shows. The fourth thing that happens, your amygdala becomes overactive. The amygdala is your brain's alarm system. It's responsible for detecting threat and triggering your fear response. In a healthy environment, your amygdala fires when there's actual danger and then quiets down. But after prolonged emotional abuse, your amygdala essentially gets stuck in the on position. This means you start perceiving threat everywhere, even in completely safe situations. A slightly raised voice makes your heart race. A delayed text response sends you into a spiral. Someone's neutral facial expression reads as anger to you. You're hypervigilant, constantly scanning your environment for signs that something is about to go wrong. For example, you're in a new relationship with someone genuinely kind. He takes a few hours to reply to a message. And instantly your brain goes to the worst place. He's angry. He's pulling away. Something is wrong. You feel the familiar panic rising. You start composing and deleting messages. You can't focus on anything else. He was just busy. But your amygdala doesn't know that. It only knows what it learned, that silence meant something bad was coming. The fifth thing that happens, your sense of self fractures. This is perhaps the most profound and least talked about effect of narcissistic abuse. Your identity, your sense of who you are, what you believe, what you want, what you feel, becomes deeply destabilized. After months or years of having your reality questioned, your feelings dismissed, your perceptions challenged, and your identity slowly reshaped to fit what the narcissist needed you to be, you lose the thread back to yourself. You don't know what you actually think anymore because you spent so long filtering everything through how they would react. You don't know what you actually want because your wants were never part of the equation. For example, someone asks you a simple question. What kind of food do you want tonight? And you feel a strange panic. Because for so long the answer to that question wasn't about what you wanted, it was about what would cause the least conflict. What would keep him happy? What was the safest answer? And now that you're free to just answer honestly, you genuinely don't know what you want. That disconnect from your own preferences, your own voice, your own instincts, that is the fracturing of self. And rebuilding it takes time, patience, and a lot of intentional work. Before you go, I want to leave you with some questions. Not to answer out loud. Just to sit with. When did you start feeling foggy, like the sharp, clear version of you went somewhere and you can't quite find her? Think about the last time you trusted your own instincts completely. Not second-guessed yourself. Not looked for someone else's confirmation. Just trusted yourself. How long ago was that? Are there things you used to enjoy, hobbies, interests, ways of spending time, that you quietly stopped doing? Not